Welcome back to Church Blog Theory. This is Ryan Parsons, and this is Survey Report Part 2. There were some concerns that were shared. I would like to read them for you. The first was, I feel it's not personal enough to reach the lost and minister to their needs evangelistically. Someone else says, I don't really know much about it, but I feel evangelism seems most effective friend to friend, face to face. I mean, most people are won through individual study rather than a random response on a Sunday morning. Yes, it happens, but friendship seems more powerfully effective. And finally, someone said, yes, it can be, but to a certain point. God's truth is ultimately incarnational. I'd like to go on record as saying I completely agree with these concerns that have been aired and like to bring to your attention some of the things that we've written here at Church Blog Theory. The first comes from one of our pages that says, while goals 1 and 3 that we've already discussed are the natural products of a sincere biblical faith-based blog, the primary priority should always focus on making personal connections and establishing spiritual friendships for the express purpose of sharing the message of Christ. In addition, in writing about evangelism with the blog, we write this note: your blog posts are not meant to be a comprehensive evangelistic effort in and of themselves. One-on-one interaction and follow-up with people is necessary. I'd also like to include some comments from Brian Bailey in his publication, The Blogging Church. He writes, the beauty of a blog is you get to have one-to-many communication in a one-to-one way. He also says on page 15, are blogs the best technology solution available if connecting with people face-to-face isn't an option? He says, yes. And so, while we may not always have the ability to be in a face-to-face communication, face-to-face relationship to share the gospel, the blog is the second best option according to Brian Bailey in his expertise with blogging and church work. But we here at Church Blog Theory believe that everyone who does this should be striving to meet up with the people that they already know online, so that that relationship can move from the internet to a personal face-to-face interaction, so that they can be incarnational and share the Word of God in a friendship, if at all possible. Another concern was shared was most people in the third world countries do not have reliable access to the internet, if any access at all. They need people to go to them. Blogging cannot become a salve for our sore spots on our evangelistic conscience. It is not an adequate substitute for true one-on-one evangelism. While I would also agree with this statement, I will say that Technorati says that blogging is a truly global phenomenon. Technorati tracked blogs in 81 languages in June 2008, and bloggers responded to a survey from 66 countries across 6 continents. In addition, Reverend Dave Hackett, in a webinar entitled Sharing God's Message Intimately, says, according to ComScore, the number of worldwide visitors to social networking sites has grown 34% in the past year to 530 million, representing approximately 2 out of every 3 internet users. You can see a map of the world here and see the use of social media as it is being used across the globe, and see that a majority of all nations in the world are utilizing some form of social media. Therefore, I believe that while there are many people in third world countries who do not have reliable access to the internet, there is an overwhelming majority of people throughout the world that do have access to it. And I don't believe that that group of people in third world countries should cause us not to utilize social media, especially blogging, in an effort to evangelize those millions and millions, hundreds of millions of people who are indeed utilizing this form of media. Two other concerns that were given was, this seems rather ridiculous. It sounds like you've created a whole new branch of extra biblical doctrine. Not that it contradicts the Bible, but you're creating a whole modus operandi out of thin air. I don't know how to put it. I think there are better ways a Christian can put his time to use in spreading the gospel. And another comment was made that it causes needless arguments. While I like to acknowledge the comments and even concerns expressed by other people, I would like to share what Lon Safko and David Brake say in the Social Media Bible. This is coming from the business community, but even the business community recognizes this, that the weblog or blog is the easiest and most effective way to provide a conduit for this type of communication, that being less reporting and more conversation. Blogs create communication, and communication builds trust. I believe that if the business community can recognize this about blogging and social media, then certainly it is something that the church should recognize. And if it is promoting communication and building trust, it is something that we should use to the benefit of the glory of God. And while, yes, it may create some arguments, whether you are interacting with somebody on their doorstep or you're sharing your faith online or in a coffee house, regardless of where you share it, there will be arguments, but the communication and trust that is created by this form of media is too important for us to cast it out. Since it does not contradict the Bible, I believe it is something that we should consider and should put to use for the glory of God. I'd also like to add that Paul's use of the Corinthian correspondence, he wrote 4 letters, which we only have 2, were interwoven with 3 visits. Therefore, Paul was utilizing the media of his day to substitute for his presence as a way to share the message of God and to encourage the church. And we see in the Roman letter that he had not yet been in physical presence in Rome. And therefore we can see that he again uses the social media of the day, which was letter writing, to substitute for his presence in ministering to other individuals. So I believe that it is certainly a theologically founded principle to use the social media that is accepted by the majority of the population to minister to lost souls and people within the church. We're out of time, but I want to encourage you to stop by ChurchBlogTheory.org. Please send us an email or feel free to contact us if you have any questions, concerns, comments, or complaints. Appreciate your attention and hope that you have a blessed day, and I hope that this information has been a blessing to you.